Hi everyone, my name's Helen. I'm 26 years old. I've been living in Frankfurt in Germany now for 2.5 years, and I thought I would just start this channel to maybe, help people who are living abroad or want to live abroad, some sort of tips and tricks. I can only really talk about Germany because I haven't lived in any other foreign country. But I'd really like to be helpful to other people who are maybe thinking of, or maybe even Erasmus students who are going on a year abroad. Because I studied modern languages. Well, I actually studied music and German originally, and then did a master's in translation. And so I had a year abroad during that time, and then as part of my master's, I did a placement abroad as well. So I was quite used to the idea of living abroad before I moved here properly. And what I mean by properly is moved here for work and not just for study reasons. Because with Erasmus, I knew that there was always going to be an end to it. It was always going to be the 9 months it was, and then I'd be coming home and I had something else to go on to. Whereas when I moved to Germany, I had a 1 year contract, but I kind of had the idea that I would, stay in Germany more long term. Maybe not forever, but I'd see what happens. And for me, it turned out that, I met my current boyfriend. And that changes things a lot because he's from Germany, he's actually from Frankfurt. And that made a big difference because to start with, it was just career. I'm going to focus on that, see what happens. But then as soon as, I guess, emotions get involved and you're in a relationship, then you've really got to consider it. To be honest, for me, it wasn't a hard decision to make if I was going to stay longer or not. It was always a case of try it and see if it works, and if it does, then why not? You've got really nothing to lose unless you're missing out on some amazing job opportunity. Why not stay here with the person you love and see what happens? At first, I was quite worried about career opportunities and prospects though, because I limited myself to living in this city, and as a translator it's quite difficult to find a job here. Maybe as a freelancer it's easier, but I don't really want to be a freelance translator for a number of reasons, mainly because I like the social contact and of actually going to work and seeing people. But the other big reason, which I do not want to talk about, but I will just briefly mention, is Brexit, and nobody really knows what's going to happen about being self-employed and these sort of things. Plus German tax is complicated. You probably need a tax advisor and everything to be self-employed here. But so basically that's my kind of story, that I'm now staying here primarily because of my boyfriend, but I was here for my own reasons first of all, and I was quite happy to stay here longer and try it out, maybe move to another city, those sort of things. But as it is, I've stayed in Frankfurt and I think I'm going to be staying here long term. But there's a lot of buts here. The political situation, which I just mentioned, will obviously have an effect. And career and things like that also play a big role. I've got a new contract starting in May, so I'm quite excited about that, a new job at a bank here as a translator. So I'm really excited, and it's only for a year, but it can be extended, so we'll see what happens with that. Then there's always what will happen after that. And basically, as soon as my contract finished in the other bank I was working at here, I was sort of kind of completely at a loss of what I was going to do. I'd only been in a relationship for 3 months then, and it's my first proper serious relationship, I'd say. And I had to make a decision: am I going to move back to the UK, or am I going to move in with my boyfriend and just see what happens? Because obviously there would be a third option. You could pay for your own flat here, but Frankfurt's quite like a mini London. It's not quite as extreme with rent prices, but it is very expensive as Germany goes. It's one of the most expensive cities. And it would just be throwing money down the drain to say, right, I'm going to go and get my own flat here. So basically the decision it wasn't hard, because I think feelings and emotions really, really are very important, and you have to kind of listen to your heart sometimes and your head as well. I mean, I wanted to stay in Germany, but obviously not having a job was then a bit problematic. I was sort of like, what am I going to do? Am I going to find something quickly? It was also winter, and that doesn't help. But I decided that I would give it a go. I would really just see what happens. Move in with him in a very, very new relationship, which I wouldn't necessarily recommend. It worked really well for us, but it's not how we would have planned it. Ideally, we would have probably lived separately for another few months or maybe a year or whatever, and then move in. But in a way, it was kind of the ultimate test, and why not? Because if you can't live together, then you're probably never going to be able to live together, and then it's not really like a feasible sort of long-term relationship, because if you can't live together, then yeah, that's not going to work. So yeah, I moved in, and we had to make quite a lot of changes to the flat because it was very much for one person, and I think my boyfriend lived here for about 10 years on his own, and so it was very much like how it had always been, and he didn't obviously have space in the wardrobe and all of these things that you don't think of. But yeah, we made it work. For us, it just happened, everything happened to work out really well. The only thing was my job situation. I ended up taking a job that I didn't really like at all when I started it. And that's another problem. Like, if you're really unhappy in your career, I think that has a big impact on everything. I don't necessarily want to go into too much detail in this video because I might make more, and then it would be a bit silly to sort of tell you everything. I've told you quite a big part of my life here in Germany now. But basically, I was very unhappy in a job and ended up leaving once I'd got another one lined up, but also the project I was working on was coming to an end anyway, quite unfortunately, and that meant I had nothing to do. So that was really the reason why I was so fed up with the job. But then, yeah, I had another unfortunate event that I had another job, and that didn't work out either. And just so 2018 for me was it was a year in which I questioned myself so many times. I questioned my decisions. I questioned my relationship, everything. And yeah, I missed my family quite a lot, I think, because of the situation. Yeah, it's difficult to say, but basically mainly just because of the job situation. And I don't know if other people feel the same way, but I feel like if you're really unhappy in a job or you're really stressed or you're really bored or anything, that has such a big impact on everything in your life. And it's hard to get away from it because you spend 40 hours a week in that place plus commuting time. And that was the other thing, I had quite long commutes, and that really doesn't help. So anyway, so I could go on and on and on about this, but basically now I'm quite happy that I'm starting this new job. Let's hope it's going to work out and everything. But yeah, I feel so much happier that it's actually something I really want to do and in an organisation I really want to work for. So that makes a big difference. I think if you compromise too much, which I definitely did, it's only going to end badly. And the reason I compromised was just because I got desperate for a job the first time. I think it's quite normal. Being unemployed is a kind of panic situation. You think, oh my God, what am I going to do? Especially when you've studied something specific and you really want to do it and you're looking for jobs in that and you can't find anything in it. That's what's really worrying. And I literally couldn't find any jobs that were just purely translation jobs. I was in this sort of weird situation where I had too much experience for sort of internship type jobs, but not enough experience for the sort of good jobs. And that really was difficult. I think what made everything more difficult is that this is all abroad. Dealing with authorities here is different to the UK, and there's always someone in the UK, like your parents, who's been through it, and you can just ask them. Also, I've got my boyfriend here, and that helps a lot, and his family and everything, but you do feel alone sometimes, and German bureaucracy can be pretty hard to understand. It's just worded very legally, and I feel like in the UK they've done a lot to try and simplify this sort of thing. But yes, you sometimes feel like you're sort of wading through mud or something. But eventually you get there, you get the stamp or the piece of paper that you need or whatever it is, and it's all fine. But where was I going with this? I don't really even know. I'm just sort of talking, just sort of sitting on the sofa at home, as you can see a random plant we have there. Yeah, my boyfriend's out at the moment and I just thought it'd be a good time to film. Yeah, but basically just I feel like if there's something you really want to do, it's probably worth waiting for, but it's much easier said than done, because I've learned from that as well. I mean, it's very easy to just take a job. If you get a job offer and you're unemployed, why would you turn it down in some ways? But then if you think it's not actually what I want to do, I went to the interview, didn't like it or something, why would you take it? And I actually had a trial day at this place and I still took the job even though I was like, I don't think I'll like it. That's where the desperation comes in and you've got to be careful. But I feel like there was so much more pressure, and the pressure all came from myself. And that's another thing that I want to sort of maybe talk about a bit, is that no one is really putting pressure on you. I mean, maybe you do have parents or family members or friends or whatever who are like pushy, or I don't know, really want you to be in a certain career, be in a certain job, a uni, whatever, I don't know. But I've never had that. But I feel like I do, because it always comes from myself. I mean, my boyfriend wasn't putting any pressure on. Obviously, like if it had gone on for months and months, it's kind of a strained relationship being unemployed. But really, it's you're the only one who's putting this pressure on. But to cut the long story short, I took a job, got quite desperate. But I think being abroad just made me think I need to have something. I don't also want to look like this foreigner without a job. I really gave myself that sort of label myself as that, like I'm a foreigner, and because obviously I am, but it's not like I'm here on any illegal basis or anything. So it's, I don't know, you don't really need to describe yourself as that. I'm very integrated here. I speak the language fluently. I mean, yeah, what more can you kind of expect from a foreigner who is living here? Yeah, but I did put this immense pressure on myself, like, you're a foreigner, you've got no job. And I felt quite ashamed of it all, and I was really ashamed in front of my boyfriend's family, and I don't think they could care less. I mean, obviously it doesn't look good if someone moves in with your son and they are foreign and they are unemployed, and there's all these cliches and stuff. But you know, you're here legally, you're looking for work, you want to work, you have worked. It's not, yeah, but I felt really like I need to get a job, just to sort of tell people I had a job. And yeah, I mean, unemployment is really horrible. From my personal experience, I've been through 2 periods of it now. But I think it's probably better than being in a job you absolutely hate. I don't know, because in some ways with a job you have the security, but you might have security, but that doesn't mean happiness. And I guess everyone's searching for happiness, as a cliche sort of goes. Yeah, but you don't have to impress anyone with your jobs. You don't have to be ashamed if you don't have a job, or if you're not in the job that you want to be in, or anything. And I just kind of want to reiterate that, because I need to kind of tell it to myself, because I've always been like, oh, it's not good enough, it's not this and that. Anyway, I don't really know where I'm going with this video. As I said, I just sort of wanted to start recording, and I had a few ideas, and basically this is mainly about living in Germany, living abroad, and the sort of challenges you come across. And yeah, as I said, I can talk about my experience of unemployment and job searching as well, maybe be of help to others. And yeah, the whole university side of it, because I've been to 2 different universities, both in the UK, but I would really love to help anyone out who is maybe studying or thinking of studying anything like that as well. I will just see where this goes. But I'm going to end this now. I hope you enjoyed the introduction to this channel and listening to me rant about myself. Well, go on about myself and go on a sort of, you know, one thought leads to another, and I've talked for nearly 15 minutes now. But yeah, I will hopefully, if I make other videos, which I hope to, that they will be more concise, and yes, hopefully you'll enjoy them. But yeah, have a great evening everyone, and speak soon. Bye.